Hey guys, Eric Coffie here, host of Govcon Giants, the all-new podcast where we interview SBA award winners, decision-making policy makers, people who write government contracting language for contractors such as yourself, people who know the FAR inside and out, who can interpret it. Take a look wherever you listen to your podcast at, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to check out the all-new Govcon Giants podcast when you get a chance. Today's video, it's actually a video talking about how to determine whether or not the government buys what you sell. But more importantly, people have asked me many times, Eric, what about how do we figure out kind of what industry or market we want to choose? What about determining whether or not there's a lot of competition or a little competition? Today, this morning, while I was in my bed playing on a computer doing some research, I think I discovered the answer to that question, and we want to share it with you in today's upcoming video. All right, we'll see you when the video finishes. All right, welcome to the big screen. We are on FPDS. By the way, if you do not know how to use FPDS, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage, because this is the database where we do most of our market research from. Today, we mentioned earlier, we're going to do I was actually browsing FBS and made a mistake already. Should be 2018. There you go. I was looking at Massachusetts 2018, and what I did was I typed in Mass, which is the state that I'm looking at, 2018, which is all the contracts listed for 2018, and that gives us 89,000 results. And then what I did from there was you can sort it, as you know already. On the left-hand side, you've got your contracting agencies, you've got your vendors, treasury account symbols. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to find out, okay, you know, who's buying what and how much of everything. And so I took a look at the first agency, right? I typed in Defense Logistics Agency just to narrow the field a little bit so I didn't have to go through 89,000 results. That yields me 36,000 results. From there, we're going to take this information and export it out to an Excel file. Watch this. And it's really cool because I have been working with this information before, but a lot of times when people ask me, I never really saw a very clear picture or vision of who were the market leaders. You get, obviously here, it tells you their names with their particular the vendors' names, but I want to show you in better detail. Let's type in MA 2018 DLA. We're going to save that. Okay. And then you get this nice, pretty Excel spreadsheet. All right. Now, with this Excel spreadsheet, what we want to do, a couple things. Let's take, and first of all, for me personally, I like to take and freeze that top panel. That way, so I click on the number 2, click freeze top row, and then that way, whenever I scroll, the top row stays the same. Okay. Now we know that the contracting agency is going to be DLA because we sorted by DLA. We know that this particular, the agency ID should be all the same, right? Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to then take and sort. Okay. So you're going to click on home, go back sort, custom sort, and then the column we want to choose is the PSC. All right. So we go to home, we go over here to sort and filter. And then in here, we sort and filter, we click column and choose PSC. We hit OK. And what that does is it allows us to Psc Code Database. What it does is when you take a look at the actual PSC codes, they're organized. They're actually not very difficult to understand how they're organized. If you look initially, the PSC codes, again, remember they're 4 alphanumeric characters. The first AAs are all research and development. So if you got the A through AZ is all R&D. And that tells you how to break down to that. But then if you go, so PSC codes are R&D, products, and services. Section B. So here are your service codes. And your service codes go from category B all the way to category Z. The product codes are just 4 numbers when you look at it, and I'll show you how that breaks down. But here you go from category B all the way to category Z, and we're in construction industry, so we're at categories Y and Z. But also because we do demolition falls under category P, salvage. And if you pull up this manual, it gives you an actual breakdown, a further breakdown here. It calls it a detailed level view. So right here, you'll find category P, salvage, demolition of buildings, demolition of structural facilities. We do that as part of our construction. And then here we do maintenance of structural facilities, construction of structural facilities, and repair of alteration facilities. All right, and that's kind of how that breaks down. Now getting back to our Excel spreadsheet, not this one, this one, we went ahead and sorted by the Psc codes, and it tells you that they're in the 1005. Let me pull up one more thing for you guys so you can see. Here's the 2019 Psc Code Database. I'll pull that up on the screen. And what you'll notice is the very first codes, the numbers, see where it says 10, it falls under weapons. So the Psc Code 10 falls under weapons all up through the 1000s. See that? Nuclear bombs, warheads, rockets. And then you get to, hold on. Right? And then you get 12, so falls under fire control equipment, and so forth. Okay? You're getting the bombs, grenades, 13s, ammunition, explosives. So you get my gist. So when you come here, you see the prefix 10, you know that falls under that first category. But what I thought was interesting was that not in weapons, because most of us don't or can't sell weapons. But what I thought was interesting was here, and this is where I thought I'd make this video, because people ask me, Larry, how do we know, what service to provide? I scrolled down and I got out of weapons and I got into accessories. And you'll see, if you open this up, you'll be able to see the actual vendor's name, the company. And when I start getting into accessories with the DLA, I notice a pattern. Vehicular furniture and accessories, for example. If you notice, if you look down here, this company, Foster Miller, Inc., has been getting all these contracts. And I noticed when looking at the DLA that whenever you switch over to a new category, and let's do something else. We're going to also freeze the first column. Let's unfreeze this. Let me move this over to action obligations. All right, so that way we can see. Now we can see. I didn't do it. Sorry, guys. Okay, perfect. All right, now what I did was I just want to freeze the top column here and the first column, the top row and then the first column. That way, when we're scrolling down through the stuff, we could kind of see what was going on. This stupid thing still didn't do it. It looks like it's only freezing one at a time. All right, so we're going to scroll over. We froze that particular. Okay. Now we are. All right. So here at the Psc codes, we are looking at. These are the dollar amounts. All right, weapons. We can't do weapons. We're fine with that. Aircraft parts, components. Some people want to sell aircraft parts, components. That still seems like a pretty scattered area. But check this out. All right, we don't sell vehicular brakes, but vehicular furniture and accessories. Look at this. Foster Miller, Foster Miller, Foster Miller, Foster Miller. Okay, and then look at the dollar amount. they basically have no competition. And, I noticed this when I start looking this stuff up, and that's when I said, you know what? People have been asking me, Eric, how do we determine areas where there's little to no competition? Well, this is one way in which you do that. Okay, this is military armored vehicles. Obviously, we don't do that. We don't do the weapon systems. But there's gas. Let's get into areas where I think that you guys might be able to provide a product to the Department of Logistics Agency. Remember, there's 39,000 of these things. Screws. Look at all these screws. Look, same companies providing all the screws. Bolt, nut, screw, rivet, and washer manufacturing. All right. Scrolling down. All right. Electrical apparatus, equipment, wiring, supplies. This seems like something that electrical apparatus and equipment, wiring, supplies, and related equipment. This seems to me is something that you could buy off the shelf and resell to the government. And this company, Noble Sayles, is the only person that is getting all these contracts. And look, some of them are small, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Some of them are big, 400, 500,000, and millions of dollars. But I would bet that the government is looking for someone who can reverse engineer these items and or provide comparable things, because there's no way you're going to tell me that they want only one supplier providing all of these various thousands and tens of thousands of components. Look at this. I mean, look, we're scrolling down. We're at 8,000. Look at that. We're getting to 9,000. And all of this has been Noble Sayles. I mean, we're in the 9,000s now. Same thing, same company. We're getting to the 10,000 range. Same company, providing all these components. So people ask me, Eric, well, how do you find an area where there's no competition? There you go. And you can do this for any respective PSC code. I just happened to run into this particular example today, and I thought I would share it because I noticed the same thing. I was like, what in the world? Medical, dental, hospital equipment, supplies, merchant wholesalers. This company seems to have the market on that. But that's probably something more specialized. But if we keep looking, there may be an area that you understand, a market that you understand that I don't know anything about, that where there's obviously some opportunity to come in and really be able to compete against really just one single supplier. Okay, look, surgical medical instrument manufacturing. Zoll Medical seems to have the market on that. Belmont makes some instruments. Again, it's a lot of information, a lot of data, but for those people out here who are in these respective industries, you know, it's worth taking a look at to see because there's opportunity. It's not as though you're wasting your time. There are, obviously, if we look just on this one page, there's between 166 to 202. That's 40-something contracts that just went to this one company, Zoll Medical. I mean, if you keep going, there's hundreds of them that went to this particular company, Zoll Medical. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of these things are probably standard things that you can resell or buy or become a vendor so that you can now resell it to the same respective agency. Also, keep in mind, it would behoove us to check and verify whether or not Zoll, Belmont, or any of these companies are small businesses. Because if they're not, that will put you at even a greater advantage over them because you are a small disadvantaged business. And again, the government still has to meet their percentage goals, whether or not they have a subcontracting plan. I would beg that the DLA would be open to anyone who could provide the equipment at the same level that's expected, that meet all the criteria. I'm sure they'd be open to entertain any small business that could provide these services. But again, we are not looking at these particular industries because they appear to be difficult. And some of them are difficult, like the weapons and stuff. I can imagine it's difficult. But some of these other things, again, if you look around at any hospital that you've ever been to, a lot of this stuff is standard stuff that people, it's off the shelf stuff that anyone could almost provide. But if you don't understand the market, you don't understand where to look, you don't understand where to start, then, obviously you're at a disadvantage. Let's talk about, not now, but in an upcoming video, we will talk about the DLA. And obviously the DLA uses a different type of bidding systems, outside of FBO. They use their own proprietary system, which is a little difficult to understand. But I did have one student of mine who had been, he's been doing really well at DLA, the bidding sites on DLA, because really it's more like their actual, like you give them a proposal and a price proposal, and as long as you can provide it, you win the bid. So it's a lot easier. There's no write-up involved for the most part. It's a much easier process to do and maneuver. But as you can see here, there's this is one way that I found that at least you can, if you are a person who likes to do research, and rather than just, you don't have a company, you don't have a product, you don't have a service yet, you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I start? Where do I go? Where's there less competition? This is a way that you can find out. All right. Hope this video helps some people out there, and I'll see you back on the other side.